Well, folks, let's face it. If you're stuck in that hypothetical survival situation that we all like to ponder about, and you have to rely on friction to start your fire, you're having a pretty bad day. Let's talk about something that can kind of help stack the deck in your favor and make that day just a little bit easier. Welcome back, folks. Thanks for joining me. I appreciate your time very much. In any survival situation, there is no cheating. Survival is all about stacking the deck in your favor to have success in whatever you're doing. Now, in a friction fire, it can be difficult. And in a true survival situation, you better believe it. I'm going to pull out a lighter like a hippie at a Grateful Dead concert. So I don't really plan on relying on friction to start a fire in a survival situation. However, we all like to hypothesize and we all end up going there. You know, if worse comes to worse, I can always use a bow drill or a hand drill or something like that to start a fire. So today, let's talk about how to stack the deck in your favor with regards to friction fire and find success. Now, whether you're a novice or experienced friction fire, anybody can have failure on any given day, whether it be due to the set you're using being imperfect, maybe the wood's a little too punky or it's a little too damp and that's all you have available, or maybe it's too humid or you're just having an off day. Today I want to show off a resource that is almost universal. Anywhere you go on planet Earth, almost, I mean I'm sure there's exceptions to this, but you can find different kinds of funguses. Most dry funguses can be used in conjunction with a friction fire to help get that ignition point lower than the dust you're using to make it a little bit easier to find success. In the past, I've used many different kinds of fungus. I've used chaga, I've used horsehoof fungus, I've used several different kinds of bracket fungus that I found locally on hardwoods in my woods. It's going to take some experimentation on your part to find out what works best in your area. In my experience, most funguses, or at least dry funguses, have a lower ignition point than the dust created by a friction fire set. So let's demonstrate it. It's just an old poplar bow drill hearth board I had laying around that I grabbed to demonstrate this to you guys with. Should work well. At least that's the plan, right? The idea behind this is because most funguses have a lower ignition temperature than the dust created by whatever kind of set you're using. Is you want to fill up your notch when you first start out with as much fungus as you can fit in there. Let the dust form and kind of fill in the nooks and crannies. You may have to stop and add a little bit more fungus because things will rearrange as you're moving stuff around. And as the dust forms around your fungus, it will kind of bind things together and allow that heat that is created by the friction to actually ignite your goal of the fungus. You want to turn your fungus into dust itself. Should be enough for today's purposes. Go ahead and stuff that notch full. The more space you take up with a fungus is the less dust you have to create to fill up that space to get your material as close to the spindle as possible. So that's less work you have to do in the end. Again, like I said, I'm just using an old poplar hearth board from practicing bow drill, and this is a mullen stock that I've used on previous hand drills. At this point, guys, you go like you normally would. You may have to stop and adjust your fungus from time to time, but just go. Heat up that hearth board. Don't go insane quite yet. Just slowly bring up that temperature. See, we're starting to get a little bit of smoke here, which is a good thing. Nice dark dust to mix in with that fungus. When you're getting close, you'll notice the sound changes. As the heat of the spindle on the hearth board changes the vibration, makes for a duller, softer, almost spongy noise. Pretty sure we got it, but might as well go for a little bit further. We've already got the heat built up. what I'm doing here, guys, is if you pull the spindle straight out of there, you allow that heat to escape. But by plunging it in and out like this, you're providing a little bit of oxygen for that ember to get started. And there we go, folks. Hand drill made easy. Alright. If I can get this in frame here. Already. And that is how you cheat in a survival situation. Just a bit of a recap, folks. I know I explained what I was doing, but I want to kind of pull this together in one concise point so you can get a clearer picture of what exactly happened there. The basic principle is as you stuff your fungus, whatever kind you're using, into that notch, that is less space that has to be taken up by the dust for whatever you're using to come in contact with the bottom of that spindle to heat up and ignite, which in the end is less work for you. Less time turning your spindle, less time bowing your bow, or whatever kind of friction fire method you're using. So how can that help you in a survival situation? Well, quite simply, that's less work you have to do. If you're working with imperfect materials, it's less heat you have to generate to actually create an ember. And overall, it's a much shortened time on your bow, on your spindle, to actually obtain flame. So anyway, folks, I thank you very much for being here today. I do encourage you to get out into nature, explore what resources you have, figure out what works best for you, and just practice. Get some dirt time in and have some fun. But anyway, like I said, thank you very much for joining me today, guys. If you enjoyed the video, give me a thumbs up. I do appreciate it. Also, if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. I've got much more stuff coming out. And also, as usual, please go ahead and hit up the comment section. Ask questions, give critiques, share ideas. Just start a discussion. Let's talk about it. Anyway, guys, thanks again, and I will see you next time.